Now, briefly we'll talk about the 6 different execution styles of a marketing message. So with respect to style, messages must be presented in a manner that preserves their credibility. In other words, that is sufficiently intrusive to break through the clutter of ads without alienating the audience, and that creates an identifiably differentiated brand association. So, because we live in an era where a lot of consumers are inundated with information, a lot of consumers tend to just ignore, shun messages. They don't even look at messages. It's hard to grab attention. So the 6 most common styles of message execution are the slice of life, testimonial, personality symbols, technical or scientific, fantasy, and musical. So let's briefly go over what each of these styles mean. So slice of the life is basically showing the brand or the product in a relevant context through normal consumers. So a normal consumer would be shown in the ad using a product in a real life situation to show how effective the product is able to solve a problem's need, for example. A testimonial would be having real users present rational support for product claims. So after having used a product, the real consumers would show and present and communicate rational support for why they thought the product was effective in addressing some of their claims. So this is based on testimony. The third would be personality symbols. So a classic example of this would be using celebrities, using well-known sports figures or entertainment movie figures, movie stars, to associate the brand with these well-known figures in our society. So it's trying to develop some type of legitimacy or bond, or that I could be like this celebrity if I use this brand that's shown in the ad. The next one is technical or scientific. So this is mostly about, it's more of a dry cut, showing a lot of information, showing a lot of data. It's presenting scientific evidence and experts to convince the customer that our product is technically sound. It's scientifically superior from an objective perspective compared to the competition. The next would be fantasy. So this is providing some type of fantasizing imagery about a brand, so that it's a little bit of exaggeration, creating a surreal context, so that it makes people dream, and providing a fantasizing imagery about a brand, so that it creates some type of attachment to the brand when a consumer sees such an ad. And then the last one is musical. So a lot of ads these days provide some type of background music, either a soothing or an exciting background music that sort of advocates and supports the brand, or a lot of times it may providing a memorable jingle or a tune. So an ad can close or end in a jingle, so that customers may be able to recall and remember the ad much better. So when a customer walks around and hears that jingle, they're able to recall and memorize that ad and associate that ad. So it enhances memory of the ad to consumers.